University, the voice of Reichman University.
The Baseline. Stories from the court with Jonathan Rears and Nitzan Aron.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Baseline Podcast. It's your host, Jonathan Rears. We got Nitzan Aron here. We got Marcellus, Marcellus.
Third time's the charm. You got that.
Third time's the charm. Marcellus, Earlington, plays for Nauria now. As we've been starting each episode lately, we're going to start strong. What's something about playing overseas that you were not warned about at all and found out the hard way?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think off the court was something that I didn't know, because you only really practice for 3 hours, 4 hours. You might get your extra work in before and after, but just finding stuff to do and like keeping yourself level-headed. You have so much free time and you're so independent. So I wasn't aware of like what I could do outside of basketball, because coming from college, you have school, you have all these activities, extracurricular things you could do, but after practice and just trying to figure out what to do the rest of my days and trying to stay productive. And I think that was something that was really hard to adjust to.
Yeah, I mean, off the court is the soul of overseas basketball. You're living wherever it is, very far from the States, very far from home. And to adapt to that, especially coming out of college, is super hard. Before we get into all the deep stuff about the overseas ball, let's run through your career.
So you're from the Bronx, New York, Bronx pride. Attended Don Bosco Prep, incredible prep school. Then you went on to St. John's, played 3 years there. Transferred over to UC San Diego, where you really came into your own, averaged 13 a game, 17 a game. Then you came back to Israel in Afula. Then you went to Italy, and now back in Israel in Nauria.
University of San Diego.
University of San Diego? My bad. I always get one thing wrong.
Yeah, the UC is right next to it, so I know there's a lot of
people. Got it. I tell you, every time, one wrong.
What's the better party school, UC or university?
Either. I think San Diego State got it.
Oh, okay.
They're both not really party schools.
Damn, he said neither.
Yeah, I got to give that to San Diego State. But we all go to Pacific Beach or downtown San Diego for the most part. So
yeah,
nice. So let's take it all the way back. Where did this love of basketball come from?
From as long as I can remember. I mean, I've been playing the game since I was 2. My dad literally has like videos of me playing against my older brothers. They played growing up, and I was just introduced to the game at a young age, and I just loved it ever since.
And then, being in the Bronx, it's a big basketball city, and you started doing AAU, eventually went to prep school. What was the basketball scene like in high school in the Bronx competitively?
So I lived in the Bronx for a little bit, but then I moved to kind of upstate New York, where it wasn't as competitive. But my mom always worked in New York, and I always had family in the city. So, to kind of give me that edge, they would always bring me to like these city teams and these city programs, like these AAU programs. Like I played for Harlem Jazz, God Shows, Team Elite, all these, up and coming, where a lot of the younger kids, that's where they send them, and they want them to be competitive and to be in that type of, environment. So, yeah, my mom sacrificed a lot. She would take us an hour to practice after her job, to just so I could have that competitive edge and to be in the bigger scene, because living in Spring Valley, where we lived in my younger years, is not as competitive, and the basketball culture is not as big. So she just always wanted me to be around it. I think that was a great thing, because it just always carried it, and I always stayed around that area, and then growing up. So just being in that environment definitely helped me, grow into the player I am.
Where did this yearn for competition come from?
I would say just being the youngest.
Yeah, valid.
I have, one blood brother. I have a half brother that, I always was competing with, whether it was basketball, video games. They were very competitive, and it just, they kind of instilled that in me. And then also, seeing my mother, work really hard, and seeing how much, how much she did for us. I think that's just where my competitive edge comes from.
There's something that I haven't really spoken about or asked guys in the past. How much did going to the park and playing basketball affect your competitive edge? Going to just run fives outside.
Man, it's the biggest, especially in New York City.
Yeah.
It's probably the biggest in the world. But you're playing against people. I was playing against people my brother's age my whole life. So I always played 4 years older. And in my head, it didn't matter if you was 4 years older. You know, I just kept that same competitive mindset. And, you know, everybody wants to go outside. Everybody, you know, the park is where you meet your best friends. And especially if you're a basketball player growing up in the city, it's like the best place to be. It's like it's like an outlet. Like, I would be on the park for probably like, I remember 4 or 5 hours a day. Like, my mom used to have to, like, literally tug us and push us to get us back home. So
there's always those videos of like you're like taking
literally
your shoes off, and then they're like, "You want to run twos? I bet, let's go."
I think you're at peace as a kid when you're just at the park, when you're with your friends, or just in that environment. And I know there's a lot of parks like Dykeman.
Yeah, you ever find yourself out there?
Like Rucker, yeah, I played in all of them growing up.
Yeah,
and it's nothing like it because it's like our NBA, like literally, like we're kids, but you see the bright lights, you see all these people. And the setting is just, it's immaculate. So
was it like being
crazy.
at like Rucker Park when like these big names show up to play like in these leagues, like these 5, you know, like OT overtime you would do?
Yeah.
That's sick.
It's a crazy environment. It's so dope. It's, you know, not everybody in New York City can afford to go to a Knicks game or a Nets game. So that's the closest thing to it, like excitement wise and just environment and the people and the atmosphere. It's New York City basketball is real and it's alive. So just being at Rutgers, sometimes they'll have a KD come, maybe,
right?
Just casually,
a John Wall casually, and so I've heard some people say like they prefer that environment than like the Garden,
right?
Or like an NBA crowd, just because it's so genuine. You know what I'm saying? And it's pure love for the game and people. You bring people from all boroughs and all areas, and they just get to see. Basketball, like fun type of basketball, not necessarily, you know, systematic. Just pure hoop.
And people are just talking.
Everybody's talking.
Everyone's talking.
And
it's really insane because like New York hoopers have such a specific style because of this. You go all the way back to like Kenny Smith, God, Sham God, all these different New York legends. Like y'all are just built different because of like how you're built. So was there a moment within that where you were planning 4 years up, 5 years up, and you're saying like, wow, okay, I'm a killer. I got this. I can go somewhere with this.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're just born with that grit. Like it's just instilled in us. If you play New York basketball, you're gonna get like fouled hard at the park. Like you're gonna come in with bruises and you might have some blood stains on your shirts and stuff like that. So I think it's instilled in all of us to just play with a certain, you know, chip. And I think that's something that's apparent in anybody who's from New York. Like I feel like you hear you're from New York, you understand what you're going to get out of them. You're going to get somebody who's very passionate about it, somebody who really loves it, and somebody who's going to leave it all out there on the floor. That's just something that comes with the New York basketball.
You ever find yourself at the park anymore, or now that you're pro, you don't go?
All my off seasons, I go to watch. Like I go to Dykeman, I'll go to Rucker. And it's beautiful because everybody's back home. I kind of try to stay away from the concrete in terms of playing. But, you know, when we're overseas, you don't really get to play in front of friends and family. Mm-hmm. And, you know, kind of having that opportunity in the summer times to potentially play in the Dykeman, to play in front of friends and family, to have that excitement. And honestly, it kind of like it helps your confidence. You know, it's like you're continuing playing and you're playing in front of family, you're getting that love that you don't necessarily get overseas. Like, not everybody could stay up at 3 a.m. and watch your game, or wake up at 5 a.m. to watch your game. So I think that's such a dope aspect of New York basketball that most of the people that play overseas either try to play in the summer if it's a gym, or like we'll play pickup together and stuff like that. I feel like that's just amazing. That's why New York basketball is crazy in the summer.
Do you do any like summer pro-ams or anything like that?
Yeah, so this past year I didn't do much, but in the years prior I did all of it. I did Dykeman, I did Gersh Park, I did Pro City, which is probably the more known New York City basketball summer league. But that's something that you do to kind of stay in shape, and like I said, be able to play in front of your friends and family. You want to have that kind of aspect of like high school, college. Yeah. So that's something I'm probably gonna do. I wish I did it this summer. But next summer for sure. For sure.
And then going back to high school, you went and you played at Don Bosco Prep, and you said you played with Ron Harper Jr. there. You're playing in this prep school atmosphere, high-level basketball. At what point are you thinking, all right, like I want to go D1, I want to play college basketball? And when did that process kind of start for you?
it was always been my dream to play basketball at the highest level, like Division I basketball, NBA. Like I've always aspired to do that, and going to a program like Don Bosco Prep, it was amazing. It was probably the best time of my life. Like literally, like I feel like if you ask anybody from Don Bosco, they'll tell you that. And the basketball program was up and coming. I think me, Ron, and other players. Our team kind of pushed it to its magnitude to where it's a national powerhouse, but it was kind of on the fence. We was mostly known for football. I played football as well there.
You played football there?
I played football there, yeah.
They're elite. Like, it's insane, yeah. Wow.
What'd you play?
Yeah, I played tight end and DN.
Okay.
So I played football there too. All 4 years I played both. I was actually, it was a tough choice to make a decision of where I wanted to go for my collegiate career. I could have went football or basketball or kind of both. So.
What made you pick basketball?
I couldn't imagine not playing basketball. And some people, it rubs some people the wrong way because, it's more known as a football school. But I really loved basketball. And, I feel like if I had the opportunity to do either and get a full education, then go with the one you kind of love more, Like I said, if I didn't have the opportunity to play at the Division I level for basketball, I would have taken football. But, just having that opportunity to play either sport, which was a blessing in itself.
Not just any D1, St. John's too.
Yeah, school like St. John's, and I was getting like high major offers for both. So it was something that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with my heart.
You said Don Bosco is like one of your favorite times of your life. What made it that?
So it's an all boys school. If y'all don't know, there's no drama. Obviously, there's not everybody's worried about girls, and it's a prep school. It's like you have people from all areas coming in, like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. The sports is really competitive. It's a top academic school, and it was just fun. It was just fun. You bonded so easily with people and with your brothers, and I still have relationships to this day. A lot of them from high school, and it's just a brotherhood that you just can't explain unless you're a part of it. It really is a brotherhood, and it's a culture. It's just a great time.
Do you feel like in some ways it prepared you for college?
For sure. I think the athletic standpoint of like just how much we practiced and the habits they kind of instilled in us as like 14, 15-year-olds kind of made it kind of easier adjustment to go into college and, put that extra work in or put that work in by yourself. I think they do a good job of they have a bunch of NFL players. Dylan Harper played there he's probably going to be, I think that's my little brother. I think he's going to be one of the best players to ever play the game of basketball. So they produce a lot of talent, and it's no secret. They instill to you hard work and brotherhood and team aspect and chemistry, and I think that all translates to the next level.
It's funny you say Dylan Harper. You could see he has that dog in him. He's not the biggest guy either.
Yeah.
And he's on the Spurs, right? And they're like, they've been playing elite even without Wemby.
Yeah.
And then Wemby comes in, and it's a crazy team. Who knows where they're going to go. But you talked about why you picked basketball, right? The love for basketball. Not like you loved football too, but you couldn't see yourself not playing basketball. The offers are coming from all the high majors. You picked St. John's. What stood out about St. John's?
It's crazy. It was growing up in New York City, if you play basketball, you're a St. John's fan or a Syracuse. I grew up a Syracuse and St. John's fan. And I went to St. John's camps from like ages 8 to 13 with Lavin, who ended up being my head coach in San Diego, which is crazy. We could get back to that. But, I always dreamed of, playing in front of family and friends. I always went to Garden games. It was so fun to go to a St. John's game. And I obviously being from the Bronx, like it doesn't get much better than, it's in your backyard.
What was it like playing in those games in the Garden afterwards?
It was crazy. It was at the time you're not really thinking about it. You're just you're kind of just in this flow state. But like going back, it was a crazy experience and opportunity to play in one of the most known, most recognizable arenas in the history of basketball, and one of the most historic. So it was definitely a crazy experience. Something that I don't take for granted. It's something that I lean on, whenever, because there's obviously so much that comes with basketball, just understanding that, you was able to play for a team you dreamed of as a kid and just embrace this journey and stuff like that, because it comes with its ups and downs, but there's a lot of beauty in it. You got to play at the Garden. Like, that's not too many people get to say that. And that was my home arena. That was my home gym, so it's crazy.
Special.
So you get to St. John's, you're living out your dream as it is. What's the first year there like? You're coming in, they're in the Big East, right?
Yeah.
So, high major program. What's your first year looking like?
It was tough. Wow. It was super tough to adjust to the level of athleticism, the level of speed. We had a very veteran team. We had a group of like fourth year, third or fifth year players, very talented team. So there wasn't really minutes there for me. It wasn't really room for me to grow. Mm-hmm. It was kind of more of just a thinking mental aspect of basketball, just in terms of seeing what these people do every day, seeing their practice habits. I played under Chris Mullin, which was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So just listening to him and just kind of just soaking all that up. But it was definitely hard because everybody who goes into a Division I situation is the man of their high school. Mm-hmm. And is the man of wherever they're at prior. So just having that realization that, there's people in this world that, are better than you, and there's so much room to grow because you're kind of thinking you're at the top of the mountain. Mm-hmm. You don't realize that there's so much more growth. And that's something I struggled with my first year.
How much did that affect you think going into your second and third year, where you said you struggled with the fact that you were the man on campus, you could have gone probably pro basketball or football, and then you come to a program like that where there's not that much opportunity, not that much time for you. What mentally is that like?
It was hard, just because I'm also in front of family and friends, so you want to be like, it's like you have your whole city. Mm-hmm. behind you, and it's like you want to perform for them. And I think choosing a school closer to home kind of put that pressure on me, where it was like I wasn't able to kind of just get away from it. It was kind of like everybody watched the game every day. So you'll watch me on the bench, they'll be like, what's happening? People that's just unaware of the situation will have their thoughts and opinions about it, and it's kind of hard to just block that out. Mm-hmm. But one thing I'll say was it was a blessing in disguise. Like, it was something that made me even more hungrier going into that second year. Just my work ethic that summer was phenomenal. I got so much better, as you can see, through the stats and everything. I got so much more confident, and just honestly being able to sit and learn from those veterans that I had a talented team. That first year we made it to the tournament. So just to sit and just learn from everybody and kind of just build up that, that extra chip. The extra chip that I already had just got bigger.
What was that experience like going to the tournament?
It was great. We lost in the round of 68, so it wasn't like it was a crazy run or experience. But there's nothing like the tournament. It's the biggest. It's the biggest stage of college basketball you could possibly get to. So the environment, the media, the excitement was definitely something.
So first year you only play around 2-3 minutes a game. Second year you play around 18 minutes a game. So you talk about your whole family and friends in the crowd. They're like, bro, why are you not playing? Blah, blah, blah. And then you go and you play 18 minutes a game. How good of a feeling was that to be playing in front of your family and friends?
Man, it was amazing. It was amazing. Some of the games I would have, and I was just so happy. I think because of that first year, I was just so happy to play. Like, I was so happy to just be able to go out there and do what I love and have fun. I didn't worry about how many minutes I had. I was so carefree. Like, it was just probably the most freedom basketball I played in my career. And we had a coach. We had a system where it was very let everybody get involved, and it was very fast paced, similar to the style we play in Israel. And I just remember having so much fun and not having a care in the world. I didn't have no pressure on myself that I had to be this type of player. I just went out there every day with the mindset that I'm going to just play hard and enjoy the game of basketball, and then everything else came with it.
For sure. And then you do go play another year at St. John's, and then you end up transferring to San Diego. What went into that decision? So
that was the COVID year. I was kind of dealing with injuries. I was dealing with family problems. It was a very tough year, that COVID year. And I also had high expectations for myself that junior year, that I wanted to be the man. I wanted to take this team to new heights. It's my third year in the program. I'm like a New York kid. So I just had all these, like I said, I think that sophomore year, I went from like having just playing freedom basketball, like being happy to be out there on the court, to expecting to be this type of player. And we had, like I said, we had a talented team, and I was kind of like in between a position that was that an NBA player was playing in. Julian Champagne, he plays for the Spurs as well. My boy, I love him to death.
So you're a Spurs
Spurs,
fan.
Spurs is it's crazy because I'm a Knicks fan, but the Knicks and the Spurs played against each other in the
Knicks
cup
won.
yesterday.
Yep.
The Knicks won, and I didn't know how to feel about it. I wanted, like I said, I love Dylan and I love Julian. They're definitely my boys. So that was a situation where I was playing behind an NBA level talent, and it was kind of hard for us to. We did play together a lot, but it was kind of hard for us. Just the way our coaching style wants to play, kind of wants to go a little bit smaller. So that was a tough year for me. Doubt creeps in. Doubt about the future. Doubt about yourself as a basketball player. I know every basketball player can attest to this. The way you see yourself as a basketball player is kind of how you see yourself as a person. We kind of put that pressure and that stigma on us. That if we're not something on the court, then that carries to our character. And as a young person, that's kind of how I went about it. But like I said, it was a blessing in disguise because there we go again. That chip is back, and I wanted to, be a great player when I transferred.
And you go be great at San Diego. So talk about why you chose San Diego and what that experience was like as well.
I mean, honestly, looking back at it, I felt like I wanted to get as far away.
Yeah,
from
the
New
other
York.
side of the country.
Just gonna say you went about as far as possible.
Yeah,
as you could.
literally as far as possible. Like I said, there was so much pressure playing in front of fans and family at a young age, and I just remember mentally just being like, I just want to, where can I go to just kind of get away from that environment to where I could just
Focus
start
on
refresh and start new and be in a situation where I could showcase the talents and my abilities. And that was at San Diego. They were one of the first schools to reach out to me in the portal. They had Jace, got a bunch of talented players coming in, and I felt like that was a place I could go to, and we could win some games and kind of be the player I wanted to be.
Mentally, what was it like? Because we saw you take a step up. You did 13 a game your first year there, 17 a game your second year there. You're free flowing. You're going all about it. What was the big mental shift there as well? Was it just getting away, or was it also part of the system?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think just having that renewal and being able to just kind of restart and refresh and being that Cali sun.
Yeah.
Life, it's hard to have a bad day in California. So I feel like everything off the court was handled. And then all I had to do was stay in the gym and just focus on, becoming the best player I could be.
Having this off the court life, as you now do in San Diego, do you think that has prepared you for now this next step that we're going to get into in terms of going pro?
Yeah, I mean, bro, I told people all the time, Israel is so similar to San Diego. When I tell you I love San Diego, I want to live there after my playing career. That's was one of the most beautiful cities in the world. But I always tell people that Israel is so similar, just from a weather standpoint, from a vibe, just the calm, the beaches everywhere. Like Nari, I live on the beach. I can't ask for more.
Hard to be mad when you're living on the beach.
It's hard. I wake up every day happy, and if I'm mad, I go walk the beach, and I'm happy. So just from that aspect, I just feel like I learned that I like the sun, and it helps with everything outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just making sure that life is good outside of the court makes it so much easier to produce. On the court.
You're killing it at San Diego. What are you starting already to start think maybe I can go pro with this? What's that process like? Are you reaching out to agents, them reaching out to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, my senior year, I definitely had the mindset if I wanted to go pro. And obviously agents reached out and stuff like that, but I wanted to kind of just focus on, keep it day by day and focus on the season. And then once the season ended, worry about all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get here eventually to Israel, this was your first stop on your pro career. So landing in Israel, getting off that flight, you went from New York to San Diego, which is far. This is a whole lot farther from family. You're in it overseas, it's not your language. What was that like actually getting off the flight, being able to go and start this journey?
I was so excited. Like when I tell you, I didn't sign until November. So I was so anxious.
The season started?
The season started, and then I think the war.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, you signed a month after the start of the war.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. And you were incredibly excited to still come.
Yeah. I mean, I love basketball. I love basketball so much, and I was in a situation where I was in the G League. I got waived, And I was just mentally like, the ups and downs that comes with it. And I really love basketball. And honestly, to play in Israel as a rookie, it doesn't happen much. Like, you have to have a big name. To play in the Winners League as a rookie, you have to have a big name. And I did my due diligence and my research. And obviously there was stuff, I knew there was stuff going on. But when I told my mom and I told my family was that, Mom, I can't, it's hard for me to be home any longer. I get this itch. And I love to hoop, and I feel like keeping that the baseline was going to be, God's going to do the rest.
The baseline.
What made you choose, though, to come to Israel? Like, what specifically about the Israeli League, about Israel, made you want to come here? Because I'm sure someone who, you were playing a little bit in the G League, you were killing it in college, you probably could have went to many different other places. What about Israel? Well,
like I said, being a rookie, I didn't have any opportunity that was, the potential career builder as playing in the Winners League as a rookie. And then also they give, they a little bit more as a rookie. I made probably more than most people made as a rookie, just being a first-year player and having the opportunity, kind of. But just doing my research, doing my due diligence, and then just trusting God.
Were there other guys at that time coming to play in November?
Yeah, there was a bunch of people that kind of like didn't want to come back because of the situation, and that's kind of how I got the opportunity to play for Afula. They had, I think, 2 or 3 people decided that they didn't want to come back, and they offered me the opportunity, and I was like, I get to hoop. Y'all gonna feed? Do I get to hoop? And y'all gonna feed me? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay.
And then you go to Afula, and this is kind of like prime wartime. Now it's a little bit more quiet, as you could tell. Being in Afula during the war, there's sirens going on. How did you kind of get adjusted to that?
I had the best people that you could possibly imagine around me. I had my trainers, the team we had. You wouldn't even know there was a war. Like, we played poker. Like, we just did things like I literally didn't feel it as much. And I obviously stayed away from the news because I didn't want to, fog my head. But just having people, the people I was with were some of the greatest people I've ever met in Afula. And they did a great job of just, you wouldn't know. Like, you wouldn't know. In Afula, there wasn't much sirens in Afula. To begin with. I know, like, if we would go out to Haifa, there would probably be one here and there, but they also prepared us the right way. They told us, like, what to do if there was a situation where there were sirens, and just being around great people, you kind of just, your mindset is out, like, not necessarily knowing what's going on in your situation, in your country.
And being a third-year pro, because of this war, you guys got even closer probably as a team. How did that reflect on the court?
Bro, Afula was probably, I think we was picked last, probably the least, like the lowest budget on the team. We had 3 rookies. I don't think nobody expected us to do anything. And when I tell you, we went out there and competed every game. We beat Jerusalem. We beat Holon.
Those are big games.
We beat Tel Aviv. Like, we are a bunch of dogs. Like, and we loved each other. And that was it. We wasn't the most talented. Like, we wasn't, like, if it was talent for talent, we probably would be the last team in the league. But we loved each other. We was dogs. We spent time with each other off the court. We had a great system. And we just went out there and played with good chemistry and like dogs.
And you go the next year to Italy. Did that first year, like, you're kind of at a high, you have a great team. You guys love each other. That's like your first year out of college. You kind of get used to that. And then you go to Italy. Did you kind of realize that really wasn't how it's going to be every single year?
Yeah, I've been blessed with, like, literally, because there's so many stories in overseas and people, go through so much with this profession. And when I tell you I've been blessed with having great teammates and great people around me in Israel, Italy, and today, like, truly. Like, I've been around great people, like great players, great organizations. I never, like, it's a blessing. So even in Italy, like, I was around great people. I was in a great system. And honestly, to me, basketball is basketball. Like I know there's different play styles and everybody wants to nitpick certain things, and just to me, like I'm gonna adjust. Like I love it. I'm gonna watch the film. It's not gonna be hard for me to adjust or to play anywhere in this world just because my pure love for the game.
So what went into the decision to leave Israel and go to Italy that second year?
Money. I think you know. I got offered probably. I'm not going to talk too much numbers, but probably like 3 times as much as I made my rookie year.
Damn, go to Italy. Yeah.
And then also, I've always wanted to, visit Italy. It was a place that I always, not necessarily basketball wise, but just somewhere I always wanted to visit and see. And I'm a Italian junkie. I love pizza and pasta. That's my favorite food. So it was in the south of Italy. It was next to Rome and Naples.
Ooh, that's nice.
The beach is right. Amalfi Coast is right there. It was, and then like down on top of the money, and then the situation, how they viewed me as a player and what they wanted me to do. It was just like a match made in heaven. And I was like, there's no way I could turn down this opportunity.
And you cooked out there. You were playing really good, And then next off season comes around, and you end up coming to Israel to play in the second league. So what went into that? You produced good numbers in the first league in Israel, good numbers in the second league in Italy, and now you come to the second league in Israel, which is still a strong league. But what went into that decision? And also, did you coming back to Israel was that something that you wanted to do because of your first year?
Yeah. So that's a good question. As you can see, I signed kind of late in the cycle. Yeah. I missed about, I think, 5 games for Naria. We haven't lost since I've been here.
Hey, there we go.
But I just wasn't necessarily getting the opportunities I wanted or where I thought my game matched. And for the salary I wanted. So there was a bunch of stuff that went into it this offseason. But one thing I could tell you is that God will put you where he thinks you should be.
Right.
And Naria was a team that reached out a couple times and had a relationship with Afula, so I felt comfortable for that aspect. And like I said, I played in the second league of Italy, and we beat first league teams. Like our preseason, we beat Naples and Scafati. And one thing I'll tell like anybody in this overseas journey, you go where you're wanted. Don't worry about the league. Don't worry about all this and all that. There's a lot of like stuff that goes into it, but at the end of the day, it's basketball. You go where you want it. You go where they want you, and they have a vision for you. And that's why I kind of found in Naria. I was like, you know what? Let me not think about it too much. At the end of the day, this team obviously really wants me. I'm comfortable being in Israel. I've played in this type of environment, this type of situation, and I didn't really think. I tried to not really think first, second league. I tried to really think more opportunity and do this team want me? Because you could find yourself in situations where you go for, these teams that are in first league and you're not playing as much. Or,
you don't play, yeah.
And then it's like, why would you put yourself in that situation instead of being somewhere where you're wanted?
And go click.
And like I said, the only difference I think between the first and second league is imports. I don't think 2
instead of 5, right?
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that kind of like. Because I played in the first league and I dominated in the first league. And I feel like that's the only thing that kind of like separates it. Is probably a little bit more athleticism, but then also just the imports.
I think we can see clearly wherever you go to a place where you have an opportunity, you take advantage of it. You absolutely kill it. And something I wanted to ask was like, what do overseas coaches value in terms of like you as a player, you as a person that maybe college coaches are growing up in the game in America that they don't?
I think just the way I play is just more like it fits European basketball more. I know in America, I don't jump the highest. I'm not the best ball handler. The little technical things I've done, I wouldn't say I'm the best thing, but I play hard. And I try to play the right way. And that's what they do in Europe. They play the right way. They move the ball more. It's not more ISO heavy. You find the mismatches. You play more tactical. And I think my game just translated more to European basketball than American.
So overseas, what do you think gets you more minutes? Athleticism or decision-making?
Decision-making. Skill for sure. I mean, it depends on where you play. Like I know France is more of, they would probably want you more up and down and more athletic league. But I think you see in Europe that skill outweighs athleticism. Like a lot of people, even in EuroLeague, you see they struggle, like coming from the NBA to EuroLeague, because they can't rely on that.
Yeah.
Because it's a slow-paced game. It's more methodical. It's more tactical. So I feel like if you're smart, you have a high basketball IQ, and you just try to do things within the system. That's how you get minutes in Europe.
So specifically, if a college player wants to play like overseas, if they're looking at their contract options, they're looking at their future, and they're saying, overseas is for me, what's something they should be developing right now?
Just like I said, they should definitely watch film on European style of basketball, or whatever country they're thinking of going to, or whatever opportunities they have. And I think that get the scoring mindset out of their head, like they have to, average 25 a game. I think that you play the right way, you'll be on the court, and you'll attract, the right clubs in the right situations if you just play basketball the right way.
Last night, Apollo Tel Aviv played Red Star. They're super deep team, Apollo Tel Aviv. They got like 20 guys. Colin Malcolm didn't score 1 point. He had 11 rebounds, and he was on the court that whole fourth quarter.
Exactly.
So you don't have to score to be on the court.
Exactly.
And the coach said that exact same thing. He was like, Colin, he shot great shots, but he was playing great defense and getting boards. That's what got him on the court.
Yeah, that's something like I've watched the interview. I think it's with Billy Donovan. It was like, you only have the ball. You really only. It takes you like probably 8. You probably shot the ball 8 seconds, like in a game. And if you took like 8-9 shots. And it's like, I know me, that's something I'll struggle with so much hoopers struggle with, is like they hang their hat on that.
Right.
Like 9 seconds of this 40-minute game. Yeah. Like you had it for 9 seconds, and you had to make a decision in 9 seconds to shoot it or pass it. And you're going to judge your whole performance off that. And that's something that just kind of stuck with me, because it's like, it's so much more aspects to the game.
It put things into perspective.
Other than a 2-second decision to shoot the ball or pass it. And I feel like when you understand that, that's probably the more successful players in Europe understand that.
It seemed like you understood it really early on. Something I said before, and that I always hear all the time, is what do they call a role player in the NBA? A millionaire. Like they played 10 years just being either a shooter or a defender or 3-and-D or whatever it might be. When did that kind of perspective come into place for you? Because it's such a mature take on it. So many people, I think, especially people who go to places like St. John's, playing in these massive, massive, massive programs, when did that perspective become like, I can find this niche in this role and I can be successful with it?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like I'm still kind of struggling with it, because I feel like every basketball, like as a competitor and as like somebody, we all think that scoring is what's going to get you the next. And anybody, like I said, you come in situations, whether you're trying to be a pro or trying to be in the NBA, where you're the man of your team. And I think it just takes a level of maturity. It takes a level of understanding your team and what's your value and what can you bring to a winning situation. Because if you average 8 points on a winning team, you're probably going to get more offers that next year than a 20-point-per-game score on the loser team.
But you say it's about maturity and stuff like this. What about when you do have to be the main guy on the team and you do have to produce? How hard is that? Yeah,
I mean, I've had every role. Like, I've had every role. Luckily, in Europe, I've been able to be one of the more main guys.
Especially with 2 foreigners on a team, they probably expect more from you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think our team, we have a first league level team. Like I said, we won 7 in a row. We haven't lost since I've been here. We won every game by double digits. So I think understanding that we have a first league level team kind of takes the pressure off, because it's like I think we could win even if I don't have this type of game. Like, I've had games where I've struggled and we've won. So I don't feel that pressure of being the second import. But then also it's understanding that they expect you to go out there and, kill. There's expectation that you have, being only 2 imports, to go out there and perform. But like I said, I don't look too much into it. I play the game I love, and I try to play the right way.
And you adapt, like you said. I just thought of it. The Israel, Winter League and the second league, they should come up with a tournament They take the 2 bottom teams from the first league and the 2 top teams from the second league, and they play for a cup.
I swear, I was talking to my teammates about this. I think we could beat some of the lower level teams in the first league.
I mean, and then there's a cup.
Do.
They should do that.
I honestly do.
Because it's the same situation every year.
Tell them to set it up. Hey,
we got to run
tell them to
that.
set it up. Yo.
I don't know which camera I'm looking at, but set it up.
Yo, set it up. I promise you. I think with just that having that mindset of playing that level of competition will bring out a better in us. And I think that we could. I truly do. I think we could beat some of the
We got to try and arrange it. All right. So now something we've been starting to do in the past, the most recent episodes, is we're doing something called like college versus overseas, myth or fact. All right. So I'm gonna start with the first one. You'll take it on. So myth or fact: overseas coaches decide if they trust you before they ever see you in a real game.
Myth. No, I think that being an import kind of puts you in position to where you kind of have an advantage over, I guess, like the locals. But then I think that you don't know. I think that in terms of my situations, because in Afula, I wasn't supposed to be the player I was supposed to. I came in supposed to be somebody who could help rebound and defend.
No, you cooked.
and I showcased what I could do. And I think that you don't know what you have until you see them in person and you see them in practice and you see their habits and you see the competitive edge and how they play in games. So I think that I'm somebody who are in my situation from experience that changed my role from just coming in and showing what I could do.
And showing what you could do also in Afula. I forgot to ask you, what was it like playing alongside Cassius Stanley in Israel, in Afula?
Yeah, he was a
bunnies.
He's a bucket. He's a bucket. I think that he kind of struggled because he was in the NBA, and like I said, a lot of people, it's hard to make that adjustment.
Yeah. But
you saw flashes. Like I think I remember I was in foul trouble against like Hapoel Tel Aviv at Hapoel Tel Aviv. I think he had 35. And this is high level. This is high level basketball players, and he carried us and like made it competitive. So you definitely see the talent with him. Great person off the court. Great dude. So it was great playing with him.
Yes, sir. All right, let's move on to the next one.
So next one, myth or fact? Your reputation overseas travels faster than your highlights.
Fact.
Fact?
For sure. I definitely think that the way the clubs kind of recruit you and the way they view you is dependent on how the prior clubs see you and your habits and your routines and how you act on and off the court.
All right,
that plays a huge impact.
Next one, myth or fact: being low maintenance overseas is more valuable than being talented.
Fact.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I think mentally having a low maintenance attitude of where let me be special in this type of let me be a special rebounder or let me be somebody who gives the team energy. I think you can find yourself in better money situations quicker. I agree. For sure.
So the next one I'll do is overseas teams would rather cut and import than adjust their system.
It's a fact. I think it's imports. It's a rough business for us. I think that you got to have the pressure on you every game to kind of just be the best player or like be one of the better players on the court. And sometimes it is system. And I think that more people get cut because not of their talent, but because they're just not a good fit for the way that the system is made.
Opportunity. It's big. Yeah. Myth or fact: you can tell if a situation is unstable within the first 2 weeks.
Fact. I think you could have a baseline if you really pay attention to the professionalism of the club and the players and just the body language and all that. I think that could tell you. Because most clubs have like 2 or 3, 4 players from the prior year. So I think they could kind of tell you how you'll be treated and or how, if it's good or bad. I think you should have a baseline if you really pay attention.
You think that helps bringing players back for another year?
For sure. I think that if you build a great culture and environment, why would you want to leave?
Right.
So I think that plays a huge factor.
Last one?
So I'll do one last one. Yeah. Overseas basketball is less political than college basketball.
Ooh,
There's politics everywhere in basketball.
I had to end it on a good one.
It's such a political game. But I would say in terms of like for the imports, we do get the politics kind of on our side because we're expected. So
He's,
we have the
he's
opportunity.
watching what he's saying. Right?
Yeah. Bro's media trained.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have more. I think as an import, we have more opportunity to showcase what we could do than we would in college. Because in college, people get now there's NIL.
Yeah.
People are promised stuff. I know there's like people that play for a specific AAU program where they want to recruit players from that program. So you have to make sure those players are good and they're playing and they're happy because you want to build this relationship and this lineage. So this, I think there's politics everywhere in basketball.
Definitely.
But I think that in terms of like in my favor or for the favor of an import, I think that it's more on your side in European basketball.
Did you get to feel out the NIL a little bit in San Diego?
No, not really. It was a mid-major school, and that was like kind of like the turning point to where it became big.
It was like
that
the
year,
first
that
year,
last
right?
year was like the first year, but then it was also like you was getting like deals with like, oh, you may be able to get free food from this place.
Yeah.
Not necessarily money. I think that happened. I think I just missed that. If I had one more year, I could have got it back. But
All right, so now moving on to some more questions. Being in Israel your second year, what's something that you've loved most off the court being in Israel?
I live in Aria, and there's a beach down the street from my house. Like, I don't need much. I'm not high maintenance. Like, you give me basketball and then you give me a beach, I'm happy. But in terms of Israel in general, I've loved it here when I was in Afula. And I'm comfortable here. I think there's just great people here. It's just a great lifestyle. Like, it's beautiful. It's slow. The weather is good. The food is good. So no complaints.
And before we get to our last segment, I just want to ask you, going to the Don Bosco Prep, and then St. John's, 3 years, you're at home, but it was a little rough to have everyone there, but it was also beautiful at the same time. Going to San Diego, you start producing Fula, Italy, Naria, going down this path. What's some advice that you would give someone, or even your younger self?
Just embrace the journey. Keep perspective, because, like I said, to play, I wish everybody got to do what they were passionate about, like got to do what they really loved. It's such a blessing that the places that basketball could take you. I'll tell my younger self to just embrace it, enjoy every moment. Don't be too hard on yourself. Work hard. Try to keep the right people around you, and everything will work itself out.
And you always wanted to go to Italy in basketball.
It's crazy. Like I said, it's crazy where basketball could take you. Super blessed.
Yes, sir. So as we wrap up every episode, we do this little segment called the Shot Clock. We're just going to do rapid fire questions. You can pass, try and get as many as you can, and we'll get into it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
You going to go first? Or?
Whoa. These are some deep questions for Shot Clock.
We could do we could do the
man,
OG
be ready.
shot clock.
I'm telling you.
Let's go. OG
right.
Shot Clock?
We can do OG.
Okay, OG, let's go.
All right. Hold up. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Shawarma or falafel?
Shawarma.
Favorite Hebrew word?
Lalatov.
Ankle breaker or poster dunk?
Ankle breaker.
Favorite basketball movie?
Like Mike.
Weightlifting or cardio?
Cardio.
Mountains or beaches?
Beaches.
Craziest place you've played?
Maccabi Tel Aviv.
Home or away games?
Away games.
Favorite song before a game?
Off the top, Comfortable Numb, No Cap.
Nice. We gave you a little extra time, but it's all right. Went to overtime.
Well, brother, thank you for coming in, man. This was awesome. I hope all your family and friends tune in to the Baseline Podcast.
Sir, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.